friends. Once again, I am there with you, and today let us talk about global guru first. The global guru, he got elected in 2014 with the hype of Gujarat model and the slogan saying "अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं." He promised to turn around the fate of the people of the country. And after being elected, he visited half of the globe in last 7 years. And in the major countries where Indians are staying in majority, he performed the rock star events, claiming that it increases the prestige of the country, it increases the prestige of the Indian, it increases the prestige of our global group. And today, what the world is saying about our global group, let me read some lines for you. The Australian leading newspaper says arrogance, hyper-nationalism, and bureaucratic incompetence have combined to create a crisis of epic proportions in India, with its crowd-loving PM basking while citizens suffocate. While the corona cases started getting increased in high numbers, lot of experts started saying that election rallies should be stopped completely. There should be no road shows. Only virtual rallies should be allowed to save the people from the pandemic. But the crowd loving global guru did not listen to anyone, and he was hailing the crowd. And what is the result before us today? You see the West Bengal, in its capital Kolkata, every one person out of two is getting tested positive. This is a result of the madness to win the election at any cost, whether people live or die. That does not matter to our global guru. That is harsh reality. Sooner than later, people will realize his blind bhakts. Now, we read about what is written in Heritage. It is Israel newspaper. It says instead of investing in vital equipments and hospitals, the government went ahead with plans for a swanky new parliament costing $2 million. By contrast, it took 8 months to invite bids for new oxygen plants. We are all aware now that last year the tender was floated for 152 oxygen plants. For that, 202 crore rupees was allocated from PM Cares funds. Till now, only six oxygen plants are operational. The oxygen, which is very critical for the patient, for whom the death is not far away if they don't get the oxygen. Instead of working rapidly on putting the oxygen plant functional, the country doubled its oxygen export during the year. And now you can see Delhi, UP, Maharashtra, MP, everywhere people are rushing here and there. They are in kilometer, half kilometer in long queue waiting for cylinder to be refilled. All this happening due to poor preparation for the second wave, which was unavoidable. Let us see what Guardian says. Political hubris met pandemic reality in India. At the beginning of March, the Hindu nationalist government of Narendra Modi claimed the country was in COVID 19 endgame. India is now a living hell. Like Donald Trump, Mr. Modi would not give up campaigning while the pandemic raged. India went ahead with five state elections in April and en masse Modi held huge rallies. Mr. Modi brand of Indian exceptionalism bred complacency. A presumption of national greatness has led to a lack of preparation, mostly notable in vaccine production. The Indian Prime Minister suffers from overconfidence in his own instinct and poo expert advice. Mr. Modi has put the onus on state government to clean up his mess. You would have heard the PM speech, PM address to the nation 2 days back, in which he said that putting lockdown should be the last option and states should be very much cautious because it ruins the economy, it ruins the poor class, it ruins the livelihood of the people who every day works for their bread and butter. And this is an indication that center has no role in curbing the pandemic. It's all about the state which have to put the efforts. Then for what we have the prime minister, for what we have the central government, for what we have the cabinet, for what we have the parliament, for what we have the central government big bureaucracy. Just to put the onus on the states when the central government fails to perform its duty in saving the millions of people. Now we come to the BBC. Modi has called, uh, mm, it says, the euphoria of beating the virus has been building since last year. Politicians, policy makers, and part of media believe that India has truly out of votes, and Modi was called a vaccine guru. though it was getting manufactured in the private labs, Serum Institute of India and Bharat Biotech. Both are the private companies. Though it was claimed that it is due to Mr. Modi for that we are getting the vaccine. In that also we failed. While the numbers of corona infected people were very much down, and it was the it was very much required to ramp up the vaccination drive. The Modi government exported most of its stock, citing the diplomatic ties. And what is the condition now? Only 13 crore people have been vaccinated so far out of 130 crore people. Neither the production capacity was enhanced nor import was eased. When the corona pandemic become became an evil, the government in hurry started negotiating with vaccine manufacturers in India and outside India, and it got a very bad deal. The AstraZeneca vaccine, which was sold to European Union at 150 rupees, is getting sold to Indian government at 250 rupees, and it will be sold to state governments at 400 or private hospitals at 600. So why this double pricing for Indian government and for European Union, and why different pricing for state and center and for private hospital, when we always speak for one nation one tax, one nation one election, one nation so and so, then why we don't have one vaccine one rate, which will ease to allow all the people vaccinated as early as possible, which is the only way to come out from the hell what the country is going through now. See, it's what is most disturbing today. It's not that preparation were not made. It's not that people were not vaccinated. It's not that oxygen plants were not put in place. It's not that we have not enhanced the medical facility. The most disturbing element today is the Prime Minister Modi, Home Minister Shah, Health Minister Harshvardhan missing in action. They are nowhere visible. They don't care for the lives which the country is losing every day. We don't find them at war front, which the country needs today. Instead of that, till last week, Mr. Modi, Shah, and BJP President JP Nadda all were campaigning in West Bengal, citing Maharashtra, Delhi have huge number, though because despite They are not going through the election. So we cannot link the rising numbers with election. But what's happening in West Bengal now? The cases were 2000, 3000 2 weeks back, and now they have 15,000 cases every day. Once again, states are going ahead with lockdown. Karnataka also announced the lockdown, which getting a start from today onwards. It looks this is the last solution, but as experts seeing, only the vaccination is the key mantra for saving the people. What happening in Britain and United States? So what is needed to ramp up the production capacity, to ramp up the import, and there should be a plan of vaccination of at least 1 crore people every day. So within a month we would be able to vaccinate 30 crore people, almost 25% of our population, which will create the immunity among them, and that will allow lockdown to be eased and economy can go on. I hope the good sense prevails in Prime Minister Modi, and he looks beyond the election, he looks beyond the party, he looks for the lives of the people of the country, and he works for that. Meet you soon.